Hi YouTube, it's Kathy. Happy Bookmas. I figured that this was a great time to do the BookTube About Me tag because it gives you a little bit more context about who I am if you're new to this whole Bookmas adventure I'm going on. Because introductions tend to go at the beginning of an event. But if you've read enough books, you know that that's not necessarily how they go. I will leave links down below as to how I found this tag because I was not actually technically tagged in it, but I just really wanted to do it. We've got 10 questions, so let's get at it. Number 1 is what do you study / what is your job? And currently I work at a public library as a page. A page is somebody who checks in books that come back, put them back on the shelves, basically does all of the heavy lifting. That being said, I do have a little bit of post-secondary experience. About a decade ago, I did 2 years in the theater program of my local university before running away to Europe, as one does, to live for a couple of years. And when I came back from Europe and didn't have a piece of paper that says that I'm smart, I did a 2-year tourism and hospitality management diploma, for which I got the Governor General Collegiate Bronze Award, meaning I had the highest grade in my entire college. This sits on my mantle collecting dust. It's pretty though. Number 2, what is your favorite social media channel? YouTube is my obvious choice here. I'm also a really big fan of Instagram, just seeing really awesome photos because I cannot pull that off. But I do tend to check Twitter and Facebook on a daily basis as well. I use Facebook mostly to keep up with people around the world who I don't get to see because they don't live here. Number 3, if you had another channel, what would it be about? And the thing about this channel is, sure, I do a lot of BookTube content, but it's not the only thing I do. In fact, I didn't even give it like a BookTube related name. The name of this channel is my name, kathytrithardt. And that's because I don't feel like I need to diversify and do different channels for different types of content. This is just all me. Sure, that means some people are snobbish and say this isn't a BookTube channel, but those people are wrong. Guess what? You can be multiple things! Insert I contain multitudes reference here. Number 4, do you play any instruments? I do not. Well, not in my current life. When I was a kid, I did do about a year of piano lessons, but I have tiny little hands that can barely reach an octave. And in my final year of high school, I decided to join band, because that's when you do that, right? It's because I wanted to join chorus and I didn't want to spare every other day, so I joined band. They stuck me in auxiliary percussion because it's not like I was going to learn a wind instrument like that. Nope, that wasn't gonna happen. And my favorite thing to play was the timpanis, which are huge drums, and also the aux box, which is what we would use for things like timpanis when we went on this big long road trip where we played at different elementary schools. And if we're being really honest, my favorite thing about band was we did this John Williams medley of all these different songs that he did, and that includes the Jaws theme. My favorite thing to do was when it got dun 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 and then broke off into something like calm after that. I would just scream at the top of my lungs like I was being eaten by a shark. This is probably why people don't let me play instruments. Number 5, what hobbies do you have other than reading? Other than reading, I do enjoy podcasts, I enjoy watching television, but one of the things that I really love, you might have caught on, is theater. There's a troupe in town called Atomic Vaudeville that I've performed with before, and I was actually looking at my schedule just before the month started going. I can make it to most of the rehearsals, but I can't go to the tech rehearsals, so I guess it'd be a bad idea to do the show. And that, mixed with FOMO, is why a Bookmas became a thing. Number 6, favorite TV shows. That's like trying to pick favorite children, although I don't have children, so how would I know? But I can't pick a favorite niece or nephew, and that's similar, right? That being said, I do get really hooked in by everything done by Shondaland, and I really just love crime shows and everything on the Food Network. If I had TV, it would play the Food Network all the time, which is why it's probably a really good idea I don't have cable. Number 7, what got you into reading? And I'm going to say it was probably my mom. My mom reads a lot. That being said, I do remember being read to as a child in elementary school, and that probably got me into reading. I can definitely remember our school librarian, Mrs. Skidmore, reading us things. And then I definitely also remember like writing our own little books in the 2nd grade, and I still have some of them, and they're embarrassing, and I'm pretty sure I made a video of some of them, so that'll be linked up above. I actually read some of them on a podcast called Grown-Ups Read Things They Wrote as Kids, so if I can find that, I will link that down below too. I've just always really loved stories, and even though I'm not the fastest reader, I spend a lot of time doing it. Number 8, what are your favorite and least favorite genres? My least favorite genre is probably classics. I just really can't get into them. I understand that other people like them, and I understand there's probably elements to them that are likable, that they're just not my thing. As for favorite genres, I really care more about the writing being gripping than whether or not it's science fiction or contemporary or young adult, or I just want something that's drawing me in. And that's probably why classics is at the bottom of my list, because the writing doesn't usually draw me in. And I'm sure some of that can be blamed on the vocabulary being antiquated, but there you have it. And you know, the rampant misogyny and racism and those types of issues. Number 9, what books define your childhood? I don't really remember much before the age of 10 because I'm old. But I remember receiving a great copy of Anne of Green Gables when I was a kid and we went to Prince Edward Island as soon as they put up the bridge. I also read so much R.L. Stine and V.C. Anders when I was about 11, 12. And I actually used to have a dresser drawer completely filled with Christopher Pike novels. I felt very grown up because there was swearing in them. I'm sure I read kids' books when I was actually properly a kid, but I don't really remember them. If there are any favorite kids' books that you want to recommend to me, let me know down below. And number 10, tell us an interesting fact about you. Does anyone else ever do that? It's like, hey, be interesting. I literally can't remember anything about my life. Oh, here's an interesting fact. In 2009, I performed in the largest neo-pagan fire festival, Beltane, in Edinburgh, Scotland. This festival typically has between 100 and 300 performers, it's one night only, and a lot of the costumes consist of just thongs, body paint, and shoes for health and safety purposes. My particular group went, this is a big hill in April in Scotland. We're gonna wear one layer of clothes. Let me tell you though, the after party was just so weird because nobody put clothes on. And there you have it, the BookTube About Me tag. If you have not done this tag, consider yourself tagged. If you have any other questions that you'd like to ask me, let me know down in the comments below. On the way down in the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you tomorrow for more Bookmas. Bye.